Hey, folks, we're going to call the meeting to order. We're 3 minutes late. Our camera on and everything rolling.
It's rolling.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. I want to welcome everybody. And the first thing I want to do is have a pledge of allegiance. And since you're facing the mic up there, Jason, how about leading us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do our roll call officially. Mr. Sigmund? Here. Mr. Howe? Here. And I'm here. Okay, was there any communications or any other than the
There is
invitation?
communications in there. You've got an invitation to the Business After Hours Mardi Gras 2025. It is going to be on Tuesday, March the 4th
The new airport.
at 5 o'clock at the new airport. Yes, the North Central West Virginia Airport. It is free for chamber members. If you would like to go, let me know and I'll get you registered.
No problem.
Okay. Paul?
I'm not sure.
I already told Marla's going to be there.
Yes, March the 4th.
All right.
Tuesday.
That's the only communication we have.
That is all.
Anybody in the group here speaking? Nobody? Okay, let's move on now to the reading. How about the approval of the minutes of the last meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second that.
Motion on the floor and seconded. Any further discussion? Had a chance to read it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to change the agenda just a little bit so I can get Chris back to work. I'm going to add in here the lab certification update report. Got Chris Matheny here. He had a meeting this morning with Mark Bryson regarding our laboratory certification and our steps forward. So I'll turn it over to Chris to let you know where we're at and where we plan to go.
Hello, my name's Chris Matheny. I'll be the QA here for the lab certification. We did have a meeting with Mark today. It was 9 o'clock. The things discussed in the meeting was data integrity and lab personnel, as well as points moving forward for the lab certification. I got with Jason after the meeting, and we talked about going through the steps to go ahead and get the submittal ready, the paperwork ready for submittal to the state. And as we're working towards that, there's just a few more documents that we have to draft to get those all lined out and our T's crossed and our I's dotted. And as soon as that is all done, we will submit that. But as far as it goes, all the QA plan has to be filled out. As I was just looking at the certification through the EPA, the plan has to be submitted prior to lab site evaluation, or it needs to be gone over when he gets here. So if it's at least to him on his desk, that probably be better.
So he gets it in advance, he can review it, and then when he shows up.
Yeah.
For the inspection or whatever he's going to do. Okay.
So our plan is,
How do you feel about that? I mean,
Yeah, so my personal opinion is we have taken great strides here as far as reinforcing our quality system. We now have a SLIMS installation, which should help us with chain of custody, which would track.
no, stop there. He don't like acronyms. Tell us.
So it's called Laboratory Information Management System. Basically, it's a program that helps regulate your chain of custody of where the sample is in its preparation, its testing, its approval, its disposal, and it tracks that through a sheet and information reports. So you can track that sample, you can approve that sample, and ultimately, once it's approved and deemed acceptable, you can discard that sample. So that's a big component to have and be able to sign off those results and have the visibility for that. It also tracks some products for us, such as like maintenance or materials that we need to order, so we can check to see what we need to. kind of has that
Sounds great.
capability.
Yeah,
It's a-
I
it's
guess
a
in a
lab-
nutshell,
it's a
all it
lab
does, it
management
tracks it.
software.
It tracks the process as you go along, so it's documented. And also shows the chain of custody.
It's very
So-
nice. It's almost like a tracking system on FedEx. It's just as soon as
Well, hope
a
the
bottle is
delivery's
issued.
faster.
Well, and it also cuts out human error too, which is usually most of your errors in the laboratory. The main thing with this program is you can scan a barcode and it'll go directly into our system. And then from the system, it will transfer directly back into the reporting software. The reporting software will have the results. And then so when you look to review the results, it'll have it color coded. If it's a bad result, it'll be color coded. You can see it. And then you can also create tests, say we need to do an evaluation, an investigation on a high number, an out of spec number, or rejection. You can do that all through that.
Great.
Sounds like a great system.
Man, I tell you, I'm sure you've been running a lot of tests and so on.
We have just got it installed. We're getting ready to do the admin training for Gil and them. They haven't really got to work with that type of system yet, so we getting them up to speed, how to make tests, how the program kind of works. And then the main priority also before this mission is training of like Gary and Mark. So we're thinking about doing a mock month where we run them through scenarios of training where I'll give them an unknown. They'll go from start to finish.
So you just got this stuff. I thought you'd had it. for a
Yeah,
little while.
That's the
we
lab
just got
management
it.
software. Yeah, we just got it.
Yeah, so we have admin and training. It should finish the 8th of February. Mark needs a little bit of time as well. So around beginning of March, I think is where we'll hit the ground running of finalizing the submittal and moving forward with the process.
Yeah, so March 1st is is a deadline we set for ourselves to submit to the state.
How many, we do a lot of testing for people, business,
We can.
communities, whatever. We
Yeah,
can
so
do it.
any potable water, so, instead of just doing lead and copper, it's the same testing regardless, so we're doing all metals,
It's all metals.
all metals,
Yeah,
so,
they call it EPA.
But is it a
128.
fast process or very slow?
it's the same.
EPA.
It's
It is the same. How about the numbers of people you can handle?
It'd be the same.
Same thing, okay.
Yeah, it's no different than what you're doing now, except for what you're looking at.
The heavy metals.
Yeah, so if you're looking, through the spectrum of metals, all the parameters have to pass for those particular metals. It's running it currently, but we're not looking at it.
Okay.
So when you run the sample in the standards that you made previously and all the calibrations, that information's there. But they had it kind of shrink to just the lead and copper. But since you're already doing it, it just makes more sense to open it up to be able to do it all.
Right.
And we did submit that test back to the state PT sample and we passed.
So we feel very confident in this. So once we get this final approval and so on, it'd be nice, I'm sure, of the board members here would like to have a demonstration, let us
Yeah.
see your final results and so on, how it works. But we'll,
Yeah, the
but we'll
good
wait
thing-
till you get the approval.
The good thing is we're not just being certified for lead and copper. We're going to be certified what they refer to as EPA 200.8, which is a whole panel of metals. So we'll be able to run it all. This machine
That's what
don't
he
just run a specific thing. It runs
That's what
the
he
whole
said.
panel. How many, do you know how many?
It's about 28.
He
28.
said it, and more metals than just
Yeah,
like
about
copper.
28 types of metals.
You would agree that no other public utility in the state will be able to do what we can do.
To my knowledge, it's normally a certified lab. Yeah.
Wow.
We won't have to
Well,
rely on commercial.
private lab.
Yeah, we won't have to rely on commercial private labs.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, now there's gonna be certain things that Bob's gonna have to do that he has to do, like what?
Yeah, there's a lot of it still good.
Yeah, I mean, but at least these things we can do internal.
Great.
Which things will go to the private lab?
Your TOCs, your SBAs, which is total organics, inorganics, all that stuff still has to go to lab, which is a lot. TTCM.
Yeah.
This is just gonna take care of your basically your lead and copper side and the metals.
So we'll be able to expedite as we replace lead service lines out there. We can turn, where right now it takes us a week or 2
Quicker,
weeks
cheaper.
to get, oh yeah. it takes 2 weeks to get the results back, we can have them back in 24 hours.
So it's cheaper and it's quicker. That's two good things for us. And it's state of the art.
And we need that speed as we replace these lead service lines in this project, so.
Great.
Any other questions, guys?
Thanks for that information.
Hey, Chris, thank you.
Yeah.
Great job.
Now, Chris is gonna be departing our agency as a full-time employee. He found a job, with West Virginia American. He's been a great asset here. He's still gonna stay here and be our QA
Good.
manager.
Yeah.
On a part-time basis. He loves this stuff. He loves it here, but he has to do what's best for his family. We completely respect that. But, he's leaving it full-time, but he'll still be here part-time.
Hey, good luck, man. And we appreciate your hanging in with us too.
Yes.
Yeah, well, as I said, we started this and I wanna be here for you guys.
Appreciate it.
And we'll get it done.
Thank you.
You can wear that Clarksburg Water Board shirt when you go to work for them.
Oh, yeah. Sure, they love that.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, every day.
Hey, good
Thank you,
report.
Chris.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, moving on to the financial items. We're going to consider the financial statements for the month ending December 31st, 2024. Mr. Finance Director, it's all yours.
I'll go to the information sheet, the other things are there for your review. If you have any questions, you can see me afterwards or you can ask me for the meeting. We're 50% through the fiscal year as of December 31st. We had currently at 3.1 or $3,147,156 in cash.
Now, where are you? So we
Right
can.
here in the fight.
On the financial
Summary
information
page.
sheet,
Summary page.
summary page.
Yeah, I thought that's what I was saying. He's just right. He's pointing to my first page. I know it's towards the back,
Yep.
because I know you jump right there.
Yep.
This is the supporting stuff. You're going to
Yes.
the final one. But I like to follow with you, although, it's pretty voluminous to just jump around.
We are currently at, your bond debt, or your total bond debt is $3,938,246 as of currently, which is a, increase in bond debt of, a net increase in bond debt of $68,591 from the beginning of the fiscal year. We paid $37,958 in bond debt in this fiscal year. Our current debt service factor is 7.02.
It's really good.
And it's really good for, as of right now, yes.
I said right now, I didn't want to hear that. I did. Did you want to hear that?
When it's all said and done, we'll see where it's at once we issue all these bonds.
I got
Current budget, current water sales is, $4,818,053, which is 52.41% of our budget. So that means we're over budget by 2.41%, and total revenues is $5,120,872, which is 52.66% of our budget. So we're over budget right now by 2.66. And our total operating expense is $3,709,198, with the percentage budget used of 45,000 or 45.82%. And, so that means we're under budget by 4.18. And our chemical budget, right now is under budget by, because it's standing at 46.9.
So overall, we're under budget a little bit.
Yeah.
And, our revenue is, I guess, because without naming towns, as cities and our degree scale people fix their leak problems, and so on, of course, we're gonna have less revenue. It's good for them. Okay. Anything else?
All right, the next thing is the financial items.
Well, let's make a.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, you need to act on
Yes.
this. Correct.
To approve the,
Yes.
financial.
I make a motion that we approve the financial information, as presented.
Second. Then move to the second. Any more questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay. Consider the budget revision number 2025-02.
Yes.
Budget revision 1 was from.
It's a handout I gave you.
That's the budget revision 1. It was just an interdepartment budget
Oh,
revision.
wait a minute, we've got something different than what's in the book.
No, it's a handout.
A handout.
I had them do your cover sheet. to make a table for you all. It's what I handed out.
Like, we've got all the stack of paper we need. Before you jump into
Well,
it,
I'm right there.
I got it, but I mean, before you jump into it, you know.
But this was budget revision two. You guys didn't receive a budget revision fund because it was just an interdepartment budget revision, so it was Jason's approval within, it was just a change in account numbers, moving some money around inside of a department itself.
So you consolidated this out of this report here. is that-
That's, yes, that's exactly what that
Okay,
is. Yes.
all right.
No difference.
I had him do that.
And you also attached another copy of what's there here.
Yes.
Which is clear because the other one had to scan in.
Okay.
Grab that one right out of the computer. So I had him to do a summary sheet for you.
I like this better. It's a much better way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and explain it now, Jason.
All right, well, I'm increasing net revenues, $67,650. With that in mind, and mainly, a lot of those are the interest accounts, the money we receive in interests, that's the majority of that. And see here, the other one came from would have been, other water revenues, which is, like bulk water sales and things like that. Miscellaneous services and sales scrap and of course, interest, more interest. That's what makes up that $67,650. Now, I didn't, I could have probably increased the income a little, or the interest a little bit more, but I'm conservative because because the rates are coming down and I don't want to overinflate so I increased it enough, which will probably get me to about March. And then we'll probably, and towards the later of the year, I'm gonna be looking at another budget revision anyway. And I'll get to the point where I get to that fact. Now, as I was going through the expense side of everything, I just wanted to bring everything up to around 50% through the fiscal year. So that's the reason why the increase in total expenses is more than the increase in revenues, as your total increase in expenses, which is the total increase in expenses is $354,409.53. And then the total net increase increase of expenses over revenues is $286,759.53. So what I'm going to do is I'm increasing some of the things to get them the percentages up to about 50%, and I'm hoping maybe by May or towards May or first part of June, I can start backing some of what we budgeted in expenses back down and bring the budget back down and do another budget revision, because as of right now, I got some things out there that I'm not sure if they're going to get them or not, but I don't want to change. I don't want to reduce those line items, but I've also got line items out there that are over budget or they're on the verge of being over budget within the next couple months.
So you're overstating again your
Yes.
expenses and underestimating your revenues.
Yes.
you say.
And to be safe.
And this is just a guesstimate anyway.
Yes.
Right.
And you're hedging right now because you've got a new administration. Things are very volatile all over. You don't know what's going to happen in
Yeah.
markets and everything. So you're playing it smart.
Yeah,
Safe.
so hopefully by the end of the year, I can reduce the expenses down and.
Let's hope so.
We need a motion to accept this.
Yes,
So
then
moved.
approve, please.
To approve the budget revision number 2 has been moved by Paul and seconded by Mr. Sigmund.
Yes, sir.
Will you okay with this?
I note, Mr. President, the general council expenses have not increased. I may be inexpensive, but I'm not incompetent. Just wanna put that out there.
We
We
want
had
to
to make sure we did that.
We want to know if that's in concrete for a while or is it just like a little.
Well,
hint?
let's find out.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. It's been duly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries.
I'm glad you
And
caught
I
that.
have to
Jeff.
sign it. My copy. Your copy.
Should have talked to me about it before you did.
I'd like to give one another,
You're fine.
well, that's okay.
You sign that, and I'll give you this one.
I just want a cover sheet.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, Mr. Manager.
Here's probably this one number. There's that.
It's pretty blue, ain't it?
Yeah, so you have to get some more. Yes, some of
Yeah.
these, which is the one.
Yeah, I'll need a
Sign
copy of
the
that.
one, which is-
Nice.
And that's it.
Cover sheet.
Here's the backside of it.
I just signed the cover sheet.
Well, here,
That's
take
the
that
cover
and
sheet
then I'll just
section.
make scan this and then I'll just
You
give
don't
you,
attach
and I'll-
this?
yeah, and I'll let you have the original back for the minutes.
And this is just an upgrade of that. We're gonna have to get some kind of a better system of this. These books are getting cumbersome.
Yep, we're working on the, Vlad's working on the digital system.
Okay.
Hopefully,
Board of Education, you guys had. Yeah. Oh, God, I can't imagine what you.
okay, so we're moving on to the general manager's report, business matters. Chestnut Street Waterline Replacement Project, thank God after today, this is going to be off the agenda. Let me see here. This just came in like a few minutes before the meeting. Let's see if I get this right. Okay.
Make sure.
So the attached pay application is for the retainage being held in the amount of $236,572.90. There's also a corresponding change order, number 4, which will reduce the contract amount by $188,901 to the amount of $2,365,729. So that is what the stuff that he has put together here for you.
That's,
Then we'll close the project out. So you need to, there's 2 motions. First motion you need to have is the change order number 4. You have to do the change order 4 before you approve the payout. So the change order number 4, which will reduce the contract amount by $188,901 to the amount of $2,365,729 even. That's your first.
trying to find this word. You see it on the phone?
No, I'm reading it from the email that was attached to it. This just,
We're scrambling all through.
yeah, this just came in like
Okay.
2 minutes before the meeting.
So we're going to approve now. Give us the language.
So it's, I'll make a motion to.
And we have discussion, okay? Second,
I second.
now discussion on Paul.
Yes, this change order that you have here is going to, the change order is number 4, and it will reduce the contract amount from $188,901
Down to two.
to the amount of $2,365,720. Yes,
Okay, yeah.
so that's gonna be your first motion. And the reason it's not all put together is we were waiting for Green River to finally settle on this, and they're settling with just the retainage, so we can get this thing closed down.
Okay, that's good.
So,
Good.
and I didn't want to wait 2 more weeks. That's kind of why we're trying to get this thing through, get it closed down, so.
It's just on the agenda today.
Oh, yes,
You
actually,
got,
one.
well, it's on here because the project's on here.
Yeah.
There's a motion and a second to
Yeah.
change order.
Any further discussion? Any more questions?
We have to make the motion.
No, the motion's been made.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just allowing some of this discussion.
Okay.
Until it's clear, then I know we got to vote on it. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. We're saving money, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, and your next motion, if you so choose to approve it, is the pay application number 10 for the retainage being held in the amount of $236,572.90.
It's right here. Current payment due.
I'll make a
Right here,
motion to
line
accept
number 8.
payment number 10, the amount of $236,572.90.
That's second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. This is something that really doesn't require a lot of discussion. It is what it is.
This is the final payment.
This is the final
Final
payment.
payment.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This project is officially closed.
So make a note of that in the motion.
Congratulations.
This is the final payment.
Yeah.
But that's Eddie's motion. It's the final payment.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
this project is officially closed.
You're gonna miss it, aren't you?
Oh, boy.
Off the agenda. Okay. Ooh. Sorry, that was kind of, but Steve been on this all day, working with Matt at Green River Group. Matt needed to fine tune some numbers. I said, just send me something just so I can get it in front of the board to get it approved, to get it off the agenda. So thank you all for muddling through that.
Okay,
We got it closed out. So next on the agenda is the Water System Improvements Project Phase 3A. Doug?
We're kind of in the same boat we're doing, which is, looking at,
submittals from the contractors, going through that, getting those back out, so trying to keep the, contractors in line and their communications where they should go. So, I think that has, remedied itself at least to the moment, and, we'll probably start seeing some dirt move middle of next month, something like that.
Now, when this thing gets rolling, the contractors have questions. They don't come to us, they go to you guys.
Right.
Okay.
You want to talk
That was
about
something
our,
needs discussion.
We had another meeting, last week on Wednesday morning, in which we brought all of the contractors back in.
Mhm.
Typically, we have this type of meeting, our pre-construction meeting, and we noticed what I would consider an extraordinary amount of questions being directly to Jason, and trying to look at substitution for materials, clarifications. And so we discussed and had another pre-construction meeting. We called all the contractors back
and vendors.
and vendors. Because we don't want your representatives, we want you here. And we had basically a little come to Jesus
I was
meeting.
gonna say, they have to understand the ground rules.
Yes, because as many projects, many contractors as we have right now, you know, I emphasize very strongly the need to run that through the proper communication channels. Because the bottom line is, if they ask Jason to make an adjustment or a judgment call, Jason's gonna hand it to me and ask me to do it there. And I let them know with no uncertainty that if we've got to run that path, I'm gonna be ticked off. And my chance of reviewing and giving a favorable opinion is not gonna be very well.
But it makes sense.
Well, because,
Talking to him, they talk to you, got contradictory things, different problems. Communications is a problem.
well, and the thing is, you guys have a business to run.
Yeah.
This project we're talking about is extraordinary work outside of what you normally
We've
do.
employed you to handle this.
Yes, and that's exactly right. This is our job to do that. to
But you
sift
do
through
keep
those
us in-
things. And we determine what things that you, because there will be things we need to bring to you
Yes.
at different times, and Jason as well. But we need to filter that first. So we had a very strong meeting, and to the point that I, made it very blunt of, anybody in this room does not understand this question, raise your hand now. We will go over it again.
So Jason, if they call you, you're right aware of it.
Yeah.
They'll learn it pretty quick.
And again, it's not trying to be mean to the contractor.
No, it's only a
It
good,
is
but
simply keeping control, and we got to do that at the outset.
sounds good. Any questions on that, guys? Okay.
The other thing that Paul's already got his copy because he's actually the one that requested them. You have a copy of the maps. That's for you to take with you in case any of your constituents out there in the public come to you and ask you about the project.
Oh, okay. This is the maps we had.
Try to make
before.
them small.
It just shows the location.
These were the maps that was actually included in the presentation, but now they're in printed form for you all. Those are for you to take home with you. Keep it in your car, keep it with you. So if somebody, if Price Cutter stops you, hey, come out. You can actually show them.
I had a request from I won't go into it, former elected person in this city of the council, saying that, texted me, wanted to know when his street will start. Will they, when will they are they going to contact me when they do my house? So on all this whole stuff. And I haven't answered him yet because I was going to talk about it later. Because we don't have an start street that's going to go here. We're just going to block at a time.
Right.
But we don't know today what street in Staley they're starting, do we?
No, we did not. And again, those.
And that
will be-
contractor will work it out.
The contractors will tell us, and then we will put it on the website that's being created for that to be updated weekly as we go forward, what's going to happen the following week.
When they do this, as it starts spreading through, say Staley, you start at a starting point, you've got the crews working. Do they kind of finish a block and go to the next? Are they going to do one section and jump up on top of the hill over here and come back down here and all that?
It could be a combination of both, and for this reason, it could depend on the number of crews that they have out there.
Yeah.
It could be strategic to say, okay, we know that there's a bus route here, and we're going to
So we have
avoid
to
all
move
the
around
bus
it.
routes.
Okay,
So there is
Some
rhyme and reason,
flexibility.
it's not just random.
okay, I got you. Yes. All right.
Okay. You received your update. Oh, we might as well, because they did tell us there. So Independent, which is the contractor doing the downtown section, which is Pike and Main, they're going to start February, right, beginning of February, they're going to start cutting the street.
Great.
Okay. Doss, which is over in Staley, they're going to start in March. Okay, we was just talking to Billy, they're already getting parts shipped and they may start a little bit sooner with weather.
Still, it was March and
Staley's March. You've got
Northview.
Bear Contracting, which has got Northview. They don't know.
Okay, that's up there.
Yeah, they told us they don't know. When I talked to him before the meeting, he told me April. So I would probably say that's probably more like that.
And then you've got Armory Road,
And then
which
you've
is a
got,
minor thing.
D&M or Paramount, whatever they go by. That's doing that. They said mid-February, 1st of March.
About a year on.
That's it. That's
That's
the
both
one.
those jobs are together.
Yeah, D&M's doing Kramer.
Kramer Drive and again, that's April, no, wait a minute, let's repeat this.
Okay, you've got,
Staley in March, Northview is unknown,
right,
and downtown is going to be
First February.
February early, and the other two projects are
it's gonna be mid-February, early March.
these here.
These two here, yeah.
All right, people ask us, and we can always tell them approximately, we don't know the exact day.
What's driving that's weather, supply.
yeah, the weather.
Sure.
The materials are really hard to get. Some of them's like 30 weeks out. So
How many weeks?
30.
You're talking months,
Uh-huh.
but the downtown Pike in Maine, we have no problem. We have a problem there because of the deadline. It has to be done.
I'm not sure what's plan they're using because they're out in Pennsylvania.
But is that September, October next year? They have to have that done by then.
Yeah,
this year.
Yes, October
Or is it
this year.
this year?
October 25.
So they've got 10 months maybe or so to get it all done in October.
October?
October 25.
October.
The main Black Street.
Because the state's going to come through and start doing their.
They're gonna have 4 to 6 crews working simultaneously.
Yeah, and again, these guys,
When we get to the festival, the 10K runs, they know they're going to
They
work around
understand.
with that year.
again, this particular crew that's doing this for independent, they do a significant amount of their work in downtown Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they're used to
So
this.
they are not at all phased about working in this area. So,
And one thing we did work out in our meeting is when we had, if you remember, last time Doug gave you an update on, the gas company, so it's Hope Gas. They were gonna go ahead of us. Now, with that, tell them after the meeting what we
yeah,
have decided.
after the meeting, we decided they are going to be in after the fact.
It's our project. We started this whole thing.
Right, and we discussed with them that, hey, look, we are going to be deep with the sanitary sewer, the next deep one is the water line. And so therefore, you guys need to come in after the fact and take care of that. So far, they have been in agreement.
Okay, good deal.
Again, today they're in agreement. So we expect that. They've been great to talk to and work on this thing, but.
They could realize cost savings as well.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah,
It's our
because,
home.
yeah.
And we're gonna have the
that's-
excavation
Already
done
got
for
the
us.
street.
Right, and then we're not gonna compromise their line.
Right.
You know, even if they're higher than us, they don't want a broken line that has to be repaired. You know, so they want to make this work as well.
Doug, I want to ask you a question about the website.
This project.
Or who's going to be in charge of maintaining it and updating?
So good question. For the most part, the updating, it depends on the type of update. If we're talking about updating as far as the day or the weekly work that goes, we're going to collect all of the data. That's Thrasher. And then we're going to hand that over to Jason. And I think Aaron has been elected to do that. It should be no more than a 15 or 20-minute update. It is literally getting on one page, typing, this is going to be from,
So
you know,
we'll have staff that has the capability to do that.
Yes.
There's going to be
And we're
training.
gonna train.
There's going to be training involved.
Yes, there is training for that, and again, it's, I'll put it this way, it is simple enough that I can do it, and I can barely turn my phone on, so, it'll be a relatively easy.
So you'll give them the information, they have a template which you put in,
Yes.
and it'll populate things and so on.
Yeah, it's simply going to be a clerical thing at that point,
Right.
and it just makes sense for you guys to do that rather than us to do it.
Yeah, so
See, and what they're gonna do for us, because as things are put in service, they're gonna send those to us so we can update our GIS in real time.
Yes,
Because trying to do this at the end of this project you can't do it. So we're gonna be updating our GIS system as stuff is put in service.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, so we're gonna turn that stuff over to us and we're gonna update our GIS.
So there's two parts to that. There is a part of saying, okay, this water line that we have proposed is now in service. This water line is now out of service. And so therefore, when, your crew is out in the middle of the night trying to dig up and they're going, okay, which one do I need to really be looking for
Yeah,
here?
no,
Our
no,
GIS system.
Yeah.
it's not on this side street, it's over here.
Right, because you guys in some.
It's gonna show it, but it's gonna show it's out of service.
Yes.
It'll be a different color.
And you guys have some streets where you've got 4 water lines. And so we need to know which one of those 4 lines is dead. We don't need to be messing.
Oh, man, yeah.
So we're gonna feed you that update as we go along and not wait to the end of the project to hit you with one big grand slam.
The other question I get as we're talking about this project is, they're coming up a street. How much, those 2 questions. How much advance warning do I have for planning my parking? I said, it'll probably be a couple of weeks. I don't think it'd be 2 days.
Right.
I mean, we'll know that. It may not be exact to, we're going to start that Monday because there's factors involved, but approximately whatever we plan to do for streets. And
Well,
they want to know that, is that kind of how we're going to do it?
I would say probably a week, probably not a couple of weeks. Now, the reality of it is they're gonna see the machinery well.
They'll
in
see it
advance.
coming.
Yes,
But they may jump off and go somewhere else.
they may. And so,
And the last thing they said, with our line that goes to our house, and we're getting a plumber. Where are we going to find plumbers if they're moving along pretty rapidly? How do we handle that? I said, I have no idea. I really didn't know.
couple of things. One, we have, told our contractors that they may want to go ahead and get
Well, I
their
forgot
local
about that.
plumbing license so that they could be ready and eliminate some of that
And they can do it pretty
confusion.
quick too. And we're not trying to cut the local plumbers out,
Absolutely
but there
not.
may be so much work that because they've got their normal work they have to do, let alone.
What we are trying to do is address the customers and have the customers have as many options that they can get and what they see works best for them.
Right.
But so what we'll do is, as we start a street, we will tell the homeowners, hey, we're about to start this street and we're going to finish down through here. You need to start looking for your plumber who you want to do. We'll let you know when this new line is activated so that you can then do your work after that. They don't have to do it that day
No.
because the way we're doing the design, they can be there a couple of weeks after that or 3 or 4 weeks. But we are going to tell them, you need to do this sometime soon because we are going to end up killing this old line.
One thing we did find out that he got confirmation of is that it's prevailing wage,
Yes.
even though it's on the private side, since it's federal dollars,
Federal money, yeah.
it's Davis Bacon wages.
And so be aware of that.
Sure.
This is a 3-year project we're working on, and it is very possible that the rules are going to change again. Okay, this is a relatively new program coming out from EPA with this money, and the rules do change as we go.
They make it as expensive as they can make it. don't
This
they?
is-
But we've raised this issue with them specifically, and
Yes.
this is the answer that we got.
Yeah, so we know now for sure.
Yeah.
There was some question.
And the good thing is, I don't think it's theoretically or practically speaking, I don't think it's changing the project cost at all. Because I think we're gonna have fewer number of customers that actually need their service lines
Right.
replaced. But they're gonna get a higher cost for replacing them because of the prevailing wage. So we're,
How are we gonna, because every one of them's unique, but weren't we gonna try to put a
yeah,
blanket cost
We-
per?
we're working on that. And so my thought on that
Different
is that
scenarios is going to cost a certain thing.
I think that every, so let's take a short service and a long service. So a 10-foot service and a 40-foot service. My thoughts are, every one of them starts out with just a base fee. There's some cost for getting there. So let's call that $500. And then after that, each service can ask for reimbursement up to $10 per foot or 15 or whatever,
Set some footage.
some footage number. That way, however long the number is, we've got a reasonable number.
So that, right, so I'm thinking that's project cost. How's that jive with the bacon wage? Because isn't that an hourly rate?
It is.
So how do we?
Well, we have to go out and so we do it as a unit cost. But the contractor still has to pay his employees hourly.
Gotcha.
And so he looks at that and goes, yes, I can do that for this unit cost or not.
Okay, yeah.
And part of that is because of the main contract. The main lines we're doing, we have, Region 6 who comes in, Kent Rollins, does all the interviews to
yeah.
make sure that they're all getting paid correctly.
He will.
He will also interview all of the private plumbers as well, to make sure that they're paid.
Okay. I have a question on this
So they're
too.
all paying from the same hymnal.
Okay, so the money for the main lines and the lead service line, our side, that money is being covered by grants, loans, and so that.
Yes, sir.
If we get a loan, that source of funding is subject to Davis-Bacon or only the part that's,
All
how
of
do
it.
how do you do that?
All of this,
Really?
yes.
Now, say, these plumbers are coming in, is that being paid for by federal money?
Yes.
So we're getting paid by the federal government to
Yeah.
pay for all those lines?
That is part of the money that is 49% grant or principal forgiveness and 51% 0% 30-year loan. So that is all federal EPA.
That's the way,
specific
I guess, the
money.
matching funds, they put the whole kit and caboodle, they all put it together.
Yes.
See, and
And
in
it's-
essence, that's why it's about 49% supposed to be the private line.
And how?
That's our thought process, and that 51%, 0% 30-year payback, that's our side.
Okay.
Am I right on that?
Now, one more crazy, I'm the next banker.
Yeah.
So we're going to have increased costs. How do we cover that?
For,
That project, I mean, we've gone out, we financed the project, and so on. We got the financing in place to do all these projects. Now we're going to have an increased cost with this plumbing thing.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, you would, it just in concept, you would look at it and go, hey, here is our rate or our cost for
I mean,
doing.
contractors, we negotiated with them, but these plumbers haven't done that or anything.
Well, but the reality of it is that number is gonna be so minor.
I won't say it's
Yeah, I mean,
$150 million.
even if we were talking about the total of, I think we've got estimated 1,400 customers we're gonna do this for. We know based upon your work that you're only gonna see about 10% of those done. So we're only gonna be doing about 150 to 200 customers side of the line.
We think only 10% will,
Based on what we went through.
Yeah.
On what we had.
You mean that have galvanized lower
Yeah.
lead lines?
that would
That's if they all do it.
that would have a replacement.
That's if they all. do it.
90% would not.
That's right.
So
90%.
that's taking the data we have and projecting.
Right. So we're looking at a small sample,
Right?
projecting it out. So that tells me, okay, and let's use those numbers. That tells me that 1,400 on your side will still be replaced because we verified those. We anticipate only about 200 on the customer side will have to be replaced. So even though that cost is higher per unit cost, 200 times that higher unit cost is still gonna be much less than the 1,400 we projected. And therefore the project will see a savings of the
So we
1,200.
projected replacing 1,400 lines,
Not quite that,
but a significant
but a
large amount.
significant number larger than the 200, yes.
So at 200 lines at 500 is $100,000. That's just a 500.
Yeah.
Not counting any other
I
things,
would-
if you're estimating
I'd hope
that.
more than 10% would take advantage, especially once their neighbors start doing that. I would think that number.
Well,
Oh, and
we
the
can
other-
only offer to pay those.
The ones that are.
That
Yeah,
are
yeah,
related
yeah.
services. We can't offer those
Correct.
that don't
Well, that's what I'm
have.
talking about, right? Or is that what you're talking about?
What's that?
The 10%, what's the 10% recognize it?
The 10% would be the people who we think have either lead or copper fault. or
Right, you're
sorry,
saying-
That are
Yeah,
They have a
that's what
lead
I'm talking
service
about.
line.
So those people, I would think, would hear their neighbors are getting it, because if I have lead line, my neighbor likely does, right,
Yeah.
age neighborhood. But, my neighbor's getting it done for free, I'm probably gonna get on board, even though 10% just seems awful low.
And definitely you're going to do it because
Yeah.
what?
But we
We're
can say.
gonna find out.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
We will find out as we go.
And definitely, unless there's some off the walls, you're going to do it because we have a short time frame for you to agree to do it. Because after that, you're going to pay the whole amount. And you'll sign a paper that you refuse to
If,
do it.
if your line is either lead or galvanized.
Following a
line,
lead line.
And for some reason you put up a fight and don't want it to do, it is a bad choice.
Yeah, and we can't force it. That's not our thing.
We can't
They've
force
got the
it.
options. We explained the risk,
But we,
but they're going to be documented. They refuse to do it,
Yes.
right?
we have to
Then after
go,
the fact, they come back and say, I want you to pay for it now.
Right. we have to go through basically a 3 or 4 step process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they refuse to do it in order to say that they have refused it. I mean, it's kind of like
Sure.
the process that you go through to turn off of for non-payment, where you've got to make contact, and you got to make a personal contact. We're going to go through the exact same process if they refuse to accept.
In the end, we'll have a record and a release.
We will absolutely have a record and a release.
Just
One of
for
our,
clarification, what he's saying, out of the 1,400 service lines, lead service lines that we're gonna have to be replacing on this,
Yes.
he is ballparking that 10% of those have that galvanized
Follow
requirement.
me, the lead line.
That's what that means.
And we don't have anybody that has a lead line, but.
I was just surprised it was only 10%.
yeah, it's just a guess.
Yeah.
As Doug knows better than anybody else in the room, once you get into people's yards, you get trouble. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you killed my prize rose bush, my grandfather's oak tree, whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
The plumbers are responsible for what they do there. So if someone's got a claim about, and they understand that,
They do. We will look at each one of these
Try to make alternate.
as they come up, and if we see something there that appears to be a problem, we understand that all of them could potentially have some unique characteristic that ask for more money, we will make that call at the time. So let's say, for instance, that they start digging, and it looks like a beautiful road through there, but they start digging, and somehow they find a concrete retaining wall that had been buried, and they gotta bust through that, all right, that asks for more money, and that's reasonable to say that's an additional cost that they should be compensated for.
but damage, ancillary damage that the plumbers do is the plumber's responsibility.
If the plumber is sitting there and he's got a backhoe and he swings it around and hits somebody's porch and knocks the edge of it off, that is his cost to repair, not a part of it.
But we're finding more and more people in the town because it's congested parking are laying down parking pads and concrete and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Covering over things, right, Bobby? You
Mhm.
run into that now and then, don't you? For driveways or whatever.
Driveways.
So that's gonna be a cost to
Yes,
have
it
to
is.
either cut it, go under it or whatever.
Yeah.
They may have to look at an alternative way maybe to get to it.
Yeah. And that'll be part of our cost too. Again, we'll have, $10 per foot to do the line and $30 a square yard or some number to cut through concrete. So we'll make it fair and reasonable. But, we're gonna look at some guy, if a guy says, hey, it was coming through my front yard and it's clear, but I want you to bring it to the back of my house and come in and you're gonna cut through all this concrete. No,
No.
it's gonna be as close to the existing line as possible, if possible.
Right. Any more questions on this? Because we're working through this. We need, the key bottom line is informing our customers.
Yes.
That's the whole thing of the project. It's going to be successful by informing the people.
Yep.
That we're doing everything we can fairly and openly.
Yes.
Anything else, guys? Let's move on to the
And
next
that's,
item.
that's a good segue to the actionable item under the Water System Improvements Project Phase 3A. And that is the communication to the website proposal that you have here in front of you. I've worked with Doug. This makes, I think, revision number 3. And, the first part of it has already been completed, as you know. That was that's the 3 meetings that we had, the neighborhood meetings that we had. Which come at a price tag of $1,930 or not $1,980, which I think is well worth it. They did a great job. It was very successful. So, less than $2,000. I think that's a no-brainer there. Website setup. If you all have never set up a website, especially as complicated as this one's going to be, it takes time. So it's going to take approximately 3 weeks to put this together, which is about 120 hours at $140. Comes to about $16,800. That's a one-time fee for that. Yeah, that's reasonable. Website maintenance,
6 weeks.
as he's alluded to,
Software.
we are going to maintain that. We are going to maintain that site. But to do that, we're going to have to be trained. I don't think it's going to take us 6 hours, but they just kind of threw that out there.
Who's gonna do the training?
It'll be Kevin from their office.
Okay.
Will show us how to do the updates. And that'll be IT, which is Aaron Mann and myself will be the ones. I'll back up Aaron if he's not here.
That's the input, the data.
Right, that's the updates that he was talking about to save money.
Understand. What's Wix?
What's what?
Wix.
That is the software that they use to create the website.
So what it
Wix
is,
software, yeah.
I just wondered. Okay.
And then on the backside, on the second page,
That's for my wicks and my handle. I didn't.
if Marissa, we need, any postcards or anything, any press releases, any press assistance or anything like that, that'll be done at $110 an hour. I mostly take care of that stuff, but I may bounce off them a little bit. Most of the work will be done out of our office.
Well, there's some things we have to do. If we do door hangers or cards, she has the skill for graphic layout.
Now, the good thing about this is that we will be, and I just confirmed this with Doug this morning. If you remember last time we talked, there were some zinc coating things that we removed off. We gathered about $35,000 that he talked about. Remember we talked about the zinc coating pipe and the zinc coating fittings
Yes.
last time? Well, that's going to reduce it about $35,000. So there's money in there that we can move
Offset
around.
this with,
So with some of those savings, we're going to be able to, Jason will pay these and we will send them to Shelby to get reimbursed through the project. So these expenses will be coming out of the project. So my recommendation is for you to approve the proposal as presented in front of you.
I want to ask you something. On the last page, it says about reaching people through social media and so on. It said the target audience already involved with the CWB Facebook, our Facebook page. And we'll look there for information. You're saying not having a separate thing, but run everything through our Facebook page?
Everybody's going to go to that, yes.
Because I think that would be smart,
Yeah.
rather than say, oh, that page over there is about this thing, and over here's this page
So
about
what we'll
that.
do is if you do any updates on the website, we'll put that link over on our Facebook pages.
Kind of like they can click right over to it, right? Okay.
And this will be our website separate from our CWB website. This is going to be project specific. Okay.
Do you individually maintain our Facebook page?
Yeah, I'm the one who does the Facebook page. I'm the one who keeps it active.
This includes her fees will be designing stuff for
You Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I used to do so much stuff, but
Yeah, I do that. I have fun doing that.
Okay,
My recommendation is for approval. My vote.
I'll make a motion to accept Jason's
the proposal.
proposal.
I second this.
A motion on the floor, still be second, that we accept the water board pricing and plans for communications to our customers. All in favor, say aye.
But
All right.
And I want to thank Doug and his team. I know I wore him out. That started out at $100,000 and you see what we got it down to. So thank you, Doug. Sorry. You know, I squeeze you and your staff really hard, but again, it's not for me. It's on behalf of our customers.
You think that'd be a lot smaller, wouldn't you?
Can I just interject? When we worked together at the Morgantown Utility Board, he used to torture consultants and contractors. And the windows in the conference room would be all steamed up because Doug would be in there forcing the price down. So you got nothing to apologize for.
Yeah, I'm getting,
Coming back at you now.
I'm getting my due payments, those are.
Okay, let's move along, because we're gonna get, we're gonna be here too long.
Down, and he's getting a good deal.
Let's go to the next item. Snake Hollow.
Snake Hollow Road Waterline Extension Project. I know we're out to bid.
Yeah, Snake Hollow is out the bid. We're having a pre-bid next Wednesday, I believe it is, at 10 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. We anticipate a good turnout on that. I don't have a number yet. We'll know more after we do the pre-bid.
It's
of
Wednesday at 10, your office.
what contractors we've got available for that. Hey, it's a nice, straightforward job, so we do expect some good contractors to show up. So, looking forward to that next week.
Okay,
Bid
thank you.
opening's February 18th at 10 o'clock, Brasher's office.
Any questions on this, guys? Hearing none, let's move to the next item, which is the, thank you, Doug, the Second Street.
Second Street Pump Station Project.
Second Street Pump Station, I really hope we were going to be out to bid this week, but it will be early next week. The guys who were giving us the pump or the specs for the pumps were a little late in getting this to us this week. So we are currently working on massaging those into the form for you guys to put out. So we're making sure we dot our i's, cross our t's.
Okay, any questions, guys? We're moving through things pretty fast, because we've had lots of discussions over several weeks.
Yeah.
You're just bringing us up to
Next
date.
week it's going to have in the papers.
Yep.
Next week the bid will go out on this.
Thank
For
you,
sure
Doug.
this time, right?
All right, let's move on to the
Yep.
TTHM renewal.
All right, QTHM removal. We have Scott Turner on Zoom.
Scott, you still with us?
Scott, you want to give us? an
Yes, we're
update
still
or
here.
anything?
We're still here. Billy's still here. We're just waiting with bated breath.
All right.
You have any snow in your state?
Yeah, we had probably 6 inch or probably 8 inches over the past couple of weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot
Yeah.
for Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, Panama City got dumped on like 4 or 5 inches last night, so.
Still can't believe New Orleans getting 8 inches of snow. I mean,
Most people don't have
Houston,
snow plows.
Houston, something.
all right, well, let's move on back to the subject because we're going to move this meeting. Bring us up to speed there.
You have any other developments, Scott or Billy?
No, we're just hoping that we can get something ordered here, you know?
About the stuff they needed from the state of West
Yeah,
Virginia.
yes, Billy, where are you at
Yes.
with, sending that stuff to the, West Virginia Office of Emergency, or Office of Environmental Health Services?
I should have it out like midweek next week. It's my
Okay.
plan.
Okay,
I guess is that what they're still called, and they keep changing their name?
I think it's
Still
close
Office of
enough.
Environmental Health Services.
The bureaucrats.
Yeah,
But,
I always have to think before I talk on that. Shelby, if you all remember, Shelby sent an email to, Miss O'Neill back on December the
and when you
19th.
say she sent it to Miss O'Neill again, Miss
That
O'Neill.
is a project officer for the EPA. Guess who that is?
Okay, now we have a clarification.
We have had no response as of today.
Contact with West Virginia.
So what I did is I called and left a detailed message on Miss O'Neill's voicemail today to try to move us along. Shelby's not here because she's under,
We have hot weather coming up after, believe it or not.
yeah, and I told her in my message, it's very detailed. You know, it's been over a month since we sent the email and no response. It's unacceptable. And I know there was a holiday, but we should have had something back by now. So, I did leave a message today for her to call me. So,
We'll get an executive order and get it done.
yeah, we can do that. I'm actually going to be, well, she's actually out of Philadelphia office, but I'm going to be in DC, first part of February, so. But she's in Philadelphia, so that don't do me no good.
Oh, I think his reach goes more than Washington DC. I was just joking about that. Okay,
Well, we had a question about the state of West Virginia, Billy.
I was just wondering if y'all have a contact that we can work directly with on that. Is there anybody in particular that y'all communicate with at the state?
Doug, who's person at, so we just had an administration change, so we don't know who's in what office now. So we just got a new governor that just took office last week,
and he's staffing up.
and he's done a lot of changes, so
Yeah.
I'm not real sure who's
Right.
who the plans
And
inspect.
somebody here reach out to help this man, help Scott man. To find
Shelby
out.
ought to be able.
Shelby,
Well,
I'll find out and get it to you, because
okay.
the guys that send all the permits are.
So you send everything in all the time.
Yeah.
You give that to me and I'll
Yeah.
pass it on.
I get
Before
that.
we
So,
send it
Doug-
off, I want to talk to somebody.
Yeah, before we send that off, we need to talk to somebody, Jason.
Just
That makes
make sure
sense.
we got our,
Just, we got our ducks in a row. Make sure
Right.
there's no,
So you
we don't
just
want to
send it back.
delay anything, that's for certain.
Right, you send it in, they send it back to you for something that's missing. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, okay.
Who do you want us to follow up with?
Doug Smith's gonna send me the information and I'll forward it on to you, Scott and Billy.
Okay, very good.
Okay?
So we're just waiting, we're waiting from the EPA, I take it, correct?
Yes, unfortunately, yes. I just can't believe this. I mean, this lady I thought was gonna be a really go-getter, but I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith, but I don't know, maybe there's a reason. I don't know, but she hasn't returned an email, and like I said, I just left a message for her today, so.
so anything else on this?
No.
Scott, sorry you had to wait so long. In the future.
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna move
okay.
this up. Well, we can move this on the agenda first, and we have people sitting on the video conferences. But keep that in mind, and we'll move them early in our discussion. But I'm glad you stuck with us, okay? Thank you, man.
Absolutely, thank you guys, and
Thank you, Billy, thank you.
appreciate
Do you
it.
have any more questions, Scott? Anything else? You or Billy?
The only thing that, we're still really concerned about, not really a question, is of course, the farther this thing delays, the farther we get it to hot weather. So
Yeah.
the closer they get. So we,
And that's my message to Miss O'Neill today. That was, I explained that.
the urgency of
the
it.
urgency of moving this along.
Okay. All right, guys, thanks for joining us.
Hey, I'm sorry, one last question, Jason, just a real quick. I'm sorry to delay it.
No,
But
that's okay.
when we, let's say we get something in February, what's the time frame or turnaround for you guys for us to order? Is it immediate when they say yes, or do we know if there's a 2 or 3 week delay after that, after they've approved, or how does that work?
They do everything by email, just as soon as they send us the approval, it's called an acknowledgement to proceed. And then once we get that, it's immediate.
It's in writing, so we can move.
So what we can do is at that time, we can use our money that we have.
Oh,
set aside
that's
for this
fantastic.
project.
Oh, so we should start this thing in February. That looks good. Okay, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
We cover for reimbursement.
Well, that's a question for Shelby, but I think all these programs allow us to have reimbursement resolutions.
But we have to have the date of the notice to proceed.
Yes, sir.
We have to have that. After that date, then yes.
All right.
And
good
then,
enough.
and Jason, you don't see any problems with them approving us, do you, in terms of sole source?
I do not.
Okay,
Now, with your setup and with all the pilot studies that you provided, I don't see an issue. No, I do not.
well, if you need more, we got more.
I
All right,
do- I
guys,
do
thank
not see an
y'all.
issue.
Thank you, Scott.
Absolutely,
Thank you,
Scott.
guys.
Thank y'all. All right,
See
bye-bye.
you. See you later. All right, let's move on again to. the-
Okay, the last thing on the agenda is something we have to discuss in executive session.
Okay.
So,
Is that the last item here in the meeting?
well, we got board member reports, comments.
I don't need anything. No, how's it been going, Bobby, with,
Freeze ups
lines and everything? Huh?
A lot of freeze ups,
Yeah.
a good bit of breaks, normal winter stuff.
Actually, I hadn't been
I just
real
wonder
bad
if there's
about
more
that.
with all this,
Yeah, mostly after hours is when we've been having breaks.
when the sun goes down, it gets
Yeah.
cold and they start.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's normal, but
We're just trying to keep up.
is this
with
more
the
busy now
customers.
because of this extended
Sir,
cold? Is it more busy this time? We have cold weather in winter now.
it seems like lately it's been busy, don't know why, but it's just, well, I mean, the coldness and everything
You've got several
probably,
days in a row of negative temperatures. I
Yeah.
guess, but
but it's not as bad as it could be.
how about on our side? Like, I'm talking about customers calling in.
Yeah, customers calling, a lot of them been on the customer side.
I was going to wonder about that more than ours.
We're just trying to keep up with them and keep the hydrants cleaned around in case there's fire department, get on without
Right.
tromping through all the snow and everything.
All right, so we had anything?
Bob Davis?
I just got one thing I just found out. Trenton Mosier and Chris both passed their class twos.
Great.
They went and took it last week, the whole week-long course.
They got their results back.
Yeah, they got the results back today and they both passed. So
Great.
So Trenton Mosier, does that name ring a bell? That's our high school student
Yeah.
that's now a full-time employee,
Great. Class 2.
already class 2 operator.
Yeah, he's gonna be going, I'm gonna sign him up for, the class 3 in March.
Good deal, good deal.
Moving right up the ranks.
Freshman.
Wow.
That's a big success
So our
story.
high school hire is really working out great.
Yeah.
It's got a career.
Yeah,
All
very,
right.
very proud of that young man.
Anything around the room? Anybody have?
Jason, you have anything?
Good for the cause. Okay. All right.
I just real quick, I've got a meeting with Mary Lamont, you know Mary, she's up at Thrasher's office, in the morning at 8 o'clock, so I won't be here.
Oh, man, that meeting in the morning?
I'll be there.
Hard. Dang, going in.
Oh, man, 8 o'clock tomorrow
What am
morning,
I
I'll
gonna
be
do
in
with my
Thrasher's
time
office.
now?
So we're
Take a
gonna
nap.
do some finishing touches to the website, so I'm glad you all approved it.
Dang, well,
Also, the bid is out for the bulk water filling station system. Bid opening for that one is scheduled for 3:01 p.m. Yeah, he knows why 3:01. On Friday, February the 7th, 2025. So, because of it, they have to be in by 3 o'clock. 3:01, I'm gonna open them up. That's why 3:01. So,
Okay.
and that's all from our reports, so you're already going to executive session.
All right, motion to go into an executive session.
Good.
Second. Seconded.